Hello everyone, I'm Corey and we're talking Manpower. Today, I've got a very special guest with us. I've got Miss Alyssa Buxbaum. She's a management analyst at the Resource Management Office for the U.S. Army Garrison, Stuttgart. Miss Buxbaum, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, tell me a little bit about your role here at the U.S. Army Garrison, Stuttgart.
My primary role is to serve as the lead Manpower analyst. So I primarily do your TDA, PBG documentation, and Manpower execution, but also manage or assist with other programs such as DTA, Travel Card, Program Administrator, and manage the MICP program.
So outside of those very complicated and wide plethora of things, are there any specific types of projects that you work on or are currently working on?
Well, currently, one of my big initiatives is expanding to SharePoint and getting as much of our projects within our office and the programs out onto SharePoint to be more customer friendly. On the Manpower side, we've really been working a lot on the FY19 TDA to include looking at various ways to get efficiencies, possibly doing consolidations, doing grade plate reviews, and also correcting some Manpower models that have been documented. So the last year, that has been a project that's been evolving continuously.
So going back to that SharePoint thing a little bit, that sounds really, really neat. So why would someone in the Garrison why would they need to see these type of numbers and these type of documents and stuff?
Well, some of the stuff we put out that we're going to put out there eventually to be more customer friendly. So if the information is out on SharePoint, you're reducing the amount of email traffic for starters. I know I'm getting emails from DISA daily telling me I'm over my limit. It makes it easier for the customer to actually get their questions answered. They don't have to call me or email me, go straight to that site. We can put documents up there, so we have processes like requesting to fill a position, and you have a form for that. Rather than emailing me, asking me the form, fill it out, email it to me, put it all right up there, then everybody who needs to see it can see it so that if I'm out, everything doesn't stop.
It's like cutting out the middleman and driving straight to that point there.
Exactly.
So what are some of the unique challenges to working at a garrison as opposed to some sort of a command overseas?
Well, there are... From my experience in terms of working with the command, I came from underneath AMC, command under them, and I've noticed that IMCOM is a lot more, their MDEP managers are much more involved. And because of the visibility of some of the programs, the sexual harassment and substance abuse, there's a little bit more control than I was used to when I worked under more of a mission command. We also, within IMCOM, we're doing more manpower modeling because in theory all of the garrisons should be offering the same services and have similar structures. But because we are OCONUS, there's uniquenesses which some of these models aren't taking into consideration. And I don't see as much manpower modeling being utilized in some of the mission commands. So that's some of the different challenges and uniquenesses.
Seems like it gives you a little bit of kind of fun flexibility a little bit too, when it's not completely rigid because obviously, like you said, you're overseas. So,
well, yes and no. We've run into challenges because these manpower models don't take into consideration some of the OCONUS activities because, for example, vehicle registration does not happen in the States. You don't do passports for dependents back in the States. The State Department would handle that. So we've run into some challenges because we might lose authorizations because those functions aren't taken into consideration. We also, we have two combatant commands here. And when models or funding and such are decided for an installation, it's based off of your Army customers, your Army, who's going to be there. But we have a very joint installation here in Stuttgart. We are very purple with all services represented. So that's another challenge where we're going back and saying, but we're not just Army. We need more resources here. We need more help here because we've got two combatant commands.
So what are talking about Germany specifically, what are some of the unique challenges and benefits to working working here in Germany?
Well, one of the challenges working in resource management in Germany or really anywhere overseas is that you need to take local nationals or host nation employees into consideration on a variety of levels. So when you're deciding your manpower mix criteria, you have another avenue to pull from, your local national employee. But when you're deciding if that position should be contract or DA civilian or local national or military, you also have to consider that, at least in Germany, the local national employees have a shorter work year. So the availability factor is impacted by choosing a local national employee there. And also security issues. Does that position require clearance and things such as that? So while it's another resource, there are things that need to be taken into consideration. Additional challenges include the fact that you're dealing with additional currency. We don't do everything just in dollars here. So you have local national employees who get paid once a month, get paid in euros. We have contractors that we hire who are paid in euros. And the conversion rate needs to be taken into consideration for everything so that even a TDY voucher can be a headache to do.
So why would you then decide to take a job in Stuttgart and in Germany in general?
Primarily because I wanted the experience. I knew that no matter what, I was going to be exposed to challenges that I would not experience CONUS, and that has definitely been true. But I would be lying if I didn't say that the travel opportunities were a huge draw.
Right. So by traveling to those very different areas and working with the different cultures and the different people, what kind of things have you learned?
Well, in terms of personally, historical information and communication, the way people communicate, the way they celebrate things, what's important has been very eye-opening and very interesting. Sometimes it's subtle differences, but that subtle difference is very significant. And it's interesting how much culturally we don't have in the States.
Right.
But they do here because they do things that they've been doing for 500 years.
Right, yeah. So if someone was looking to prepare to come to Stuttgart, mm-hmm. how can they best prepare for it? What would be your advice to them?
Do your research. Stuttgart is a unique command because, as I've mentioned, we have 2 combatant commands. Look into the combatant commands, understand what they do, what their focus is, because in addition to working for the garrison itself, we have the combatant commands and all their support units that also hire civilians. And doing that research and having that background will help you better apply an interview for those organizations, but also if you wanted to work for the garrison, you better understand the challenges we face at the garrison.
And understanding the relationships, if you will, between the 2 commands, between themselves and and then their unique ones to the garrison and
exactly.
Such. So let's switch gears here a little bit.
Okay.
I understand that you recently applied for the Enterprise Talent Management or EDM program. What made you apply for it?
Well, I believe in always participating in professional development, both on the technical side and the soft skill side. And as a GS-12, you're beyond many of the developmental programs, but the next plethora, so to speak, is for GS-13 and above. So there's not a whole lot for the GS-12 level. And when I saw this, I thought it would be a great opportunity. It would be challenging, but it would also give me exposure to all of the services. It would help me connect dots to understand things, and most important, to network.
So why do you think it's then important for somebody to develop these type of networking skills and to be in these types of programs? Why should they continue to professionally develop?
Well, you never want to get stale in your skills or your knowledge. You want to always be growing, especially if you want to ever move in your career. If you want to move up or move out and try something different, you need to be personally and professionally developing yourself. It's also just on a personal level for me, I enjoy always learning. I think there's always something I can improve, always something more to learn. And in this case, at the DoD level, just learning how things are done in the different services is fascinating to me.
So obviously you've been through the application process. Mm-hmm. So what would you suggest to someone who's considering applying for applying for the program?
Begin early. Personally, I kind of felt that completing the application correctly should have made me a shoo-in for the program. It is not easy. But really, you need to network. You need to get to know your senior leadership, because there are going to be people who have to endorse you who don't know your name, who've never seen you or heard of you before. And they are going to rely on your senior leadership's endorsements and what they have to say about you in deciding whether they will endorse you. So I would definitely say the big thing is get known with your command leadership and network with them, let them know that you're interested in this, and see if there's something that they would want to see from you before you begin the application process.
Right. Well, that's all I have. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Just
a reminder that everybody needs to make sure they're taking care of their own career. Even some of the people I work with will make comments about supervisors not sending them training information, so they never go to training. But I'm a big proponent of you are responsible for your own career. So seek out, look for training opportunities, look for networking opportunities, and make sure you put yourself in a position to be the best qualified when an opportunity comes available. Don't wait until it's available to meet those minimum requirements.
Well, Ms. Buxbaum, I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Well, everyone, that's all we have time for today. We look forward to our next segment, and thank you very much for listening. And until next time, have a great Army Day.